on In This Corner with Russ Anber, we take a look back at Billy Irwin's battle against Juan Diaz. Pretty boy Floyd Mayweather dukes it out with Henry Bruseles, and we'll preview Arturo Gotti's next fight against Jesse James Leija. Hi, everybody, and welcome to In This Corner with Russ Anber. I'm Darren Detition, along with the coach. We are glad you tuned in, and what a great time we had at the Canadian Nationals.
I promised you a good weekend, and we saw some great fights, and you had a great time there. I know you had a great time.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and we're going to have a good time over the next half hour as well. A lot of professional boxing to get to. You know, at the age of 36 and having squeezed all that he could out of the demanding sport of boxing, Billy the Kid Irwin announced last Friday that his WBA lightweight title shot against Juan Diaz would, in fact, be his last fight, win, lose, or draw. It wasn't a pre-fight acknowledgement of defeat, but a simple statement saying he was going to leave it all in the ring. And whatever happened, happened.
These fans are ready. The Canadians have made the trip to see this man, Billy Irwin. He has arrived at this point once again. It wasn't long ago the former Canadian Olympian was written off, but at age 36 and with 8 straight wins in over 3 years, he's earned another title shot. Win or lose, this is the last night in the career of Billy Irwin. For the first time since he won the title last July, Juan Diaz returns home for a pro fight.
I can tell you right now, Irwin's game plan is to cover up and look to sneak something in. He might not get that chance covering up in front of Diaz, who only knows one gear, fourth gear.
Great work from Juan Diaz. In the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds, he's thrown over 90 punches. You know, this fight here was a training camp in which Juan Diaz, for the majority, he's got him hurt with a left hand.
Well, you always hear this saying, don't hook with a hooker. Well, Billy Irwin hooked with a hooker, and Diaz has got there faster, harder, better.
7, 8. Ready, Bill?
Juan Diaz landing 710 punches through 8 rounds. That's a lot of damage, and the majority of that were power shots.
And the referee does the right
For
thing.
the first time ever, Billy Irwin has been stopped in a fight.
The winner by TKO victory, still undefeated and still WBA lightweight champion of the world, the pride of Houston, Texas, Juan, the baby boy, Diaz.
It was the first time in 48 professional fights that Irwin had been stopped, while Juan Diaz improves to 27-0. After the fight, the Kid talked to Jeremy Schaap and Teddy Atlas.
Billy, a remarkably courageous performance. What were your thoughts about the referee's decision to stop the fight?
Well, I have no problem with the referee stopping it. He's not going to give me any benefit of the doubt. But, I'm not hurt. I'm fine. I've been sick since last Thursday. Everybody at home is aware of that. And I really thought I could just fight through it. But it affects you. And I felt it tonight.
Billy, was your style just a wrong style, in all honesty? You've always been an honest fighter. Your style just a wrong style for a busy buzzsaw like this? You like to cover up and block?
And pick my shots. But I just, to be completely honest with you, Teddy, I think the being sick affected my sharpness and my power. I didn't feel strong. I saw everything, but I just didn't feel strong. I didn't have the zip. But you know what? I knew coming in that I was going to feel like this, but...
How about being 36 years old?
No, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I'm a young 36. I live a clean life. I have a wife and 2 beautiful daughters that I stay home and raise, and I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I don't do anything bad, I don't stay out late. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Well, you've always been a gentleman. It's been good to have you.
Thank you.
Billy, thanks very much.
I wish I could have performed better. I really thought I was going to win the fight.
Now, not to be an apologist for Billy the Kid, but when he was on this show just 4 days before going to fight in Houston, he was under the weather. Most people don't want to go to work when they're sick, let alone step into the ring. But having said that, he had his hands full with Juan Diaz. He'd have to have the perfect fight to beat him.
You know, Pete, you have to remember something, too, Don. We're talking about Juan Diaz, who right now is the youngest world champion in boxing. And we knew when we had Billy on the show, we asked him, and I asked him this specifically, have you ever fought anybody that's going to give you the kind of intensity that Juan Diaz is going to give you? And he wasn't able to give me an answer, and I think that answer was a no. Juan Diaz is perpetual motion, a throwback to an old-time fighter of just throwing. And I think you gotta understand something, that what Billy did in there, the effort, the gallant effort he put up against somebody like that was incredible. We watched the fight on tape, if you remember correctly, and when he got hurt in the second round and went down, and I turned to you and I said, he lasted till the 9th round. I mean, incredible. Like, he was out of there in the second, you know, and Diaz did everything he could to try to get him out of there. This guy has conducted himself with the class of a world champion. He has had the class and dignity and a warrior's heart in and out of the ring, and he's got nothing to be ashamed of. I give full credit to him. He said he was going to let it all hang out, Darren, and he let it all hang out.
Right, and we weren't surprised by what he did on Friday, because that's the way he has conducted himself throughout his whole career. I mean, he basically, for being, you know, I don't want to say a one-armed fighter, but a tough chin and that nasty left, he rode it a long way.
And when the ref moved in to stop it and he gave it the acknowledgement, yeah, like he knew he was beaten, but boy, he stood there right till the very end and took it. And, you know, a gallant effort for Billy Irwin.
Now, this was not the only championship fight that was held this past weekend. You also had the undefeated pretty boy Floyd Mayweather stepping into the ring to face Puerto Rico's Henry Bruseles. This one, pretty much no contest, as Mayweather had his way with Bruseles. He lived off that hook. Actually, he hit him with the left, the right, basically at will, Coach.
But you know what? Classic boxing moves, though. I mean, his judge of distance is incredible. And the way he's able to get out of there and land that left hook, I've spoken to you about that before, the way, look at that, and he never misses. And the key when you tell a fighter, finish with the left, and that's exactly what Mayweather's doing.
Now, how easy was it for him? Well, he switched sports.
All right, so Roy, do you like the Steelers or the Patriots?
The Patriots. Jim Lampley wasn't asking Floyd that. He was asking Roy Jones Jr. who he liked in the AFC Championship game. They also discussed the NFC Championship game as well, but it was relatively easy. Floyd Mayweather Jr. Victorious as he knocks off Henry Bruseles. Pound for pound, you've got Mayweather #2, as you've got Bernard, the executioner Hopkins, who climbs back into the ring February against Howard Eastman, still your #1 fighter.
You know what? I mean, it's an arguable thing. Everybody, we can get a whole bunch of emails telling me I'm wrong and Mayweather should be #1. But when you're 40 years old and you're dominating your division and you're going after your 20th title defense, it's going to take just a little more to bump you out of that spot.
Isn't that the truth? Now, Friday night in Houston, the undefeated heavyweight Calvin Brock was facing the veteran Clifford Etienne. Brock would take charge early in the second round, dropping him with a left in the next round. It's the right hand that does the damage. Brock loads it up and then rips him.
Very nice shot. Good right hand. And you see him wants to come back over with the left hook, and there it was, and that puts him down hard.
He remains undefeated at 24-0. Now Saturday in Miami, the Nigerian Samuel Peter facing Cuba's Yankee Diaz. Now Peter, a future heavyweight star, at least that's what they're saying, did show some promise with his power.
Yeah, he could have almost got himself disqualified right there, hitting Diaz when Diaz was down. The referee didn't get in time. Certainly not pretty, and he slaps his shots, but there's definitely some power there, Darren.
Yeah, he is a little bit sloppy.
A little.
This is a big boy who also happens to be a big work in progress.
Oh, absolutely, and a lot of sloppy shots. You see, I don't think the refs get in enough when they slap on the back of the head. I hate that shot. That's the most dangerous punch in boxing.
Well, he improves his record to 22-0. Coming up next, we will preview Arturo Gatti's fight against Jesse James Leija. Not be making a comeback after all. The former world heavyweight champion released a statement denying comments that were made in the Sunday Mirror where it appeared he was coming back to fight Vitaly Klitschko in November. Lewis says that he retired on top and he will stay retired. The WBC and WBA super welterweight champion Winky Wright has inked a deal to move up to middleweight and face superstar Felix Trinidad. Now, Wright initially declined the fight, but after promoters upped his payday by another $1 million, an agreement was reached. Howard Eastman's challenge of Bernard Hopkins on February the 19th in L.A. will be for Hopkins' WBC title only. Hopkins holds the WBA, IBF, and WBO middleweight crowns in addition to his WBC belt and will be making his record 20th title defense. That is something. Meanwhile, Eric Lucas says he's not interested in fighting Sid Vanderpool. Vanderpool floated the idea in the media after his scheduled bout on February the 4th was canceled. Now, both he and Lucas are slated to fight in March, but neither has yet lined up an opponent. Lucas wants one more tune-up fight before taking another run at the WBC belt. For the past 11 weeks, the Thunder has been rolling, and following a meticulous training regimen, Arturo Gatti returns to the ring this weekend in his adopted hometown of Atlantic City. Now, Gatti, who comes in as the favorite, faces a former champ in Jesse James Lejan. If they call you Jesse James, you had best be bad. For Gatti, this fight sets up a possible showdown with Floyd Mayweather Jr. and a gigantic payday, so both fighters have a lot on the line. Boxing is called the sweet science for a reason. It's very rare for a boxing match between two good fighters to degenerate into a brawl. When you look at the best fighters in the world, you see maybe 1 or 2 times in their careers where this has happened. But for Arturo Gatti, it's almost an exception for it not to happen. Gatti has at least 9 fights in his career that were not skillful displays of boxing, but were instead just that, out-and-out fights. In these bouts, Gatti has shown tremendous determination and grit in the ring, and because of this style, he has emerged as a fan favorite. Gatti has made a name for himself, coming back time and time again from sure defeat to snatch victory. His come-from-behind wins against fighters like Wilson Rodriguez and Gabriel Ruales got him noticed. Even in defeat, Gatti was always the warrior, putting up a good fight to the end and usually getting bloodied for it. But the moment that would define his career was his 3-fight trilogy with Irish Mickey Ward. After splitting their first 2 battles in which each fighter pounded each other mercilessly, Gatti was able to defeat Ward in the 3rd and final fight. He had won despite an early knockdown and breaking a bone in his right hand. This trilogy elevated Gatti from fan favorite to the man people recognized as boxing's unofficial hardcore champion.